Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into all of my 3/8 drive ratchets. We'll be going over the length, my thoughts on them, which ones I use most, which ones I don't really use. I'm not really going to go over the pricing, but I will try to have as many of them linked down in the description as possible. I have almost 20 ratchets and 6 different brands, so a wide variety, and we'll start with the smallest ones that I have going up to the largest 3/8 drives that I have. We'll go over the features, the tooth count, all of that information, try and get through it fairly quickly. I don't know how we'll go about that. It is a lot, so just bear with me. I hope you guys get a lot of good information from this, and maybe it'll help you decide which ratchet you may look at purchasing next. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about any of these, please feel free to drop a comment down below. Or if you guys would like to see a comparison or a breakdown of any of these ratchets, please let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to make another video for you guys of that. But let's go ahead and get into this. If you guys enjoy, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into this. So here we're looking at my 3/8 drive ratchets. I think there's a total of 18 and 6 different brands. I may be missing one or two here or there. I know I missed a couple in the 1/4" drive video. I had missed the Gearwrench 120 XP with the locking flex head, the newer design over. And then I also forgot one other one. My Carlyle comfort grip, one of the older generation before what we're gonna look at today. So the last video on the 1/4" drive, it took quite a while and I trimmed it down as much as possible. So I'm going to try and go through this as fast as possible while still providing you guys with some decent information. If you guys want to see a comparison of any of these ratchets to one another or a breakdown of a specific ratchet or two, please let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do that for you guys. At the end, after I go over all of these, I will state which ones are the smoothest, which ones have the most features, which ones are my favorites or my most commonly used. And just keep in mind that just because it's my most commonly used doesn't mean it's the best ratchet. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense. It's just something ratchets that I gravitate towards, or it may be in the same drawer that I'm getting a socket out of. So first up is the Gearwrench 90 tooth. This is a stubby. This came in a 2-piece set with this ratchet right here. And this is like their low profile, slim design. And I've had this one for a couple years now, and honestly, I don't really use this one all that often. It is 3/8 drive, obviously all of these are, but it's like a 1/4" drive body, which is handy. For my situation, I don't use it all that often. You may be in an occupation or work on a specific type of vehicle or machinery or whatever it may be that requires something like this much more often. Is this a good ratchet? Absolutely. I like the Gearwrench 90 tooth design. I think they did a really good job on it. Just this specific ratchet isn't one of my most commonly used ones, but it does have a nice low profile and very clean chrome. Nice recessed reverse switch, very small body. This comes in at 4 3/4 inches long, and this uses the snap ring style backing plate. Next up is the Gearwrench 120 XP semi-locking flex head, and this is one of the first sets of Gearwrench 120 XPs that I bought. This came in a 4-piece set, all of them semi-locking flex heads, and I've used this one a decent amount. It's got flex head to it, so I can get in awkward places. Once again, just like this ratchet, don't use it nearly as often as your standard size ratchet, but you may get a lot more use out of it. But it's been a fantastic ratchet. I like the 120 XP design. It's a 60 tooth gear with dual pulls, creating 120 positions for a 3-degree arc swing. Once again, recessed reverse switch, nice body, a little bit thicker, as you can tell. Well, this is comparing it to their compact head design, so you can see just how much smaller this is. But I really, really enjoy it. Here's the 90 tooth. And here's the 120. I really enjoy the 120 XP. Low back drag, great for tight spaces. That ratchet comes in at 5 1/16, so just over 5 inches. Next up is the Carlyle. This is a 60 tooth ratchet. I've had this since 2017, I believe. This is probably 2015, 2016 time frame. This is 2017, 2018 time frame. And this was one of my go-to ratchets for a really long time. Nice recessed reverse switch, nice low back drag, pretty slim profile. about average, not extremely thick like a couple of them that I'll show you. This one, it's not really super thick, it's just thick compared to what I was showing you guys before. Even though this is a 60 tooth, it is really smooth, operates really nicely. Average length coming in at 8¼ inches is kind of your standard length for a 3/8 drive ratchet, non-flex head, you know. Carlyle has some really good stuff, but a lot of times you will pay for it, unfortunately. And so if you're interested in Carlyle stuff, they definitely make great stuff, but only buy it when you can get a good deal on it or when it's on sale. Next up is the Gearwrench 120 XP. This is also from a set. This was a 3-piece set of the non-flex heads, and this was the first set from Gearwrench that I bought after I bought the 84 tooth, which we'll look at here in a minute. Once again, the 120 XP design, nice low back drag, very, very, very smooth, and one of my go-to ratchets, one of my most commonly used ratchets. This one comes in at 8 3/8 inches long, and it uses the snap ring style backing plate. Did forget to show, basically all of the Gearwrench ones that we've looked at so far have used the snap ring style. This one has the sealed backing plate with the Torx on the face of the ratchet. Here's the other one from the compact head design set. So exact same dimensions, but with a longer handle. This one coming in at 8 3/8 as well, so the same as the 120 XP that we just looked at. And this one also uses the snap ring style backing plate. So these I've had maybe a year or two, and honestly, I just don't use them very often, but it's not because they're not good ratchets. I love the low profile design. It's just when I go to my socket drawer, there's a few that I just tend to grab right off the bat. And so there's no issues with these. I like the 90 tooth design and everything. It's just not what I tend to grab. Here we're looking at the Olsa tools roto head ratchet. I've used a few different brand roto head ratchets in the past. I love the idea behind them. I love the functionality of them. But the thing that I don't like is a lot of these, I think it has to do with the design of the internals and how they're made. But a lot of these roto head ratchets have a lot of back drag. And this Olsa tools, this is a 90 tooth, if I remember correctly, and it has the least amount of back drag out of the ones that I've tried. Pittsburgh, Gearwrench. I've used the Carlyle. The Carlyle one's pretty good. The Pittsburgh and the Gearwrench just have a lot of back drag, and while this still has a lot of back drag compared to your standard design ratchets, it's a lot less than the other two brands that I've owned. And I just like the design of it and what you can do with it. It is a very bulky ratchet. A lot of the roto head ratchets are. It's got a big reverse switch that does stick out there. And the roto head design is usually just a thicker design. It is adjustable for tension and everything, so it is a really nice little setup. This came in a 3-piece set of all 3 drive sizes. This ratchet comes in at 8 15/16 inches long, and this is, a ratchet that I rarely use, but when I need it, it is a handy ratchet to have, so just not a very common one that I use. Next up, one of my go-tos again, this is the 90 tooth Gearwrench, their standard head design, not the compact low profile. There you can kind of see the difference in the sizes there. And so this is just their standard design, no flex head, comfort grip, really nice, comfortable handle. And the Gearwrench on this set uses a little kick out right here, and it fits really well in the hand. It's very comfortable. It's dual material. I like the 90 tooth since they released that. So I have the 84 tooth, I have the 90 tooth, and I have the 120 XP. I don't have any of the older 72 tooth Gearwrench ratchets, but I've really enjoyed the ones that I've purchased over the years. There you can kind of see the deforming in the head of the ratchet. I think it was thin when they milled it out or whatever to fit the gear. And it just kind of, all of them are like that. All of them that I've seen and all of them that I own from the 90 tooth. It doesn't affect the operation of the ratchet. It's just something I noticed when I bought it, but it does have nice clean chrome. It holds up really well, and I've used this ratchet a lot. This ratchet comes in at 9 7/16 inches long, and overall a pretty thin ratchet, just slightly thinner than the Gearwrench 120 XP. This is a little bit older design before they switched to the all smooth face without these kind of beveled edges. And that also uses a snap ring style backing plate. Next up is the Carlyle newer ratchets that were released earlier in 2025. And after talking to my old driver on the race team, this is a Sabertooth. When I did my original video on this, I was trying to figure out if it was a Hellcat, Cougar, Jaguar, mountain lion. I didn't know what it was, you know, but it's cool looking. It's really cool looking. I don't know where Carlyle came up with it. I don't know where that was from, but this is their new color combo, the green and the black, which I really like. Now, the blue and the yellow from the previous generation made more sense, matched Napa. I don't know where this came from, but I like it outside of it not making much sense. Now, I will say this new design is a little bit thicker than their previous Carlyle ratchets. I did some measurements compared to my other Carlyle ones and some ones at my old job, and these are a little bit thicker than the older ones. They are a 90 tooth and they are extremely smooth. Overall, I like the design. This is a free floating flex head. I like to have a variation of different flex heads, semi-locking, locking, and free floating. And the comfort grip on this, just your standard round design, but it is still very, very comfortable in the hand, and it is dual material as well. Carlyle comes in at 9 and 9/16 inches long and uses a sealed backing plate with the Torx on the face of the ratchet. Next up is the Capri. I've had these for a few years now, and this is the 90 tooth non-flex head. Forgot to mention, this does have a recessed reverse switch, where the Capri is not recessed, but it is a lower profile than some of the other brands, which I'll show you here in just 1 minute. Very smooth ratchet, one of my favorite ratchets. The handle design is a comfort grip on this, and it's got a little bit of a different shape to it, but it is still comfortable in the hand. It doesn't bother me or anything like that. It's very comfortable and durable, and definitely a great set of ratchets and a great price for the set, which I bought this as a 3-piece set. The Capri comes in at 10 inches long, and it has a sealed backing plate with the Torx on the drive side of the ratchet. Next up is the Tekton 90 tooth. This was their semi-locking flex head, just their standard length one, I believe. And I took it to the shop and I threw it in the lathe and turned it down. And then I took their USA made handle for their multi-bit screwdrivers and I press fitted into here. I forgot to drill a relief hole in here, so I did put some H3000, some basically glue, in order to lock it onto the handle, and I ended up hydro locking it basically. And it's definitely not moving, and it is on straight. So I do have a little bit extra material here, and I've used this quite a bit and I love it. I like what Tekton did for a comfort grip handle, but I think they should also do one with a USA made handle on there like this. Just kind of a classic USA made design. And it's the semi-locking flex head. And this one, even though it's longer than it was intended to be, this one comes in at 10 1/4 inches long. This has a sealed backing plate with the Torx on the drive side of the ratchet. And this has 9 positions that it can set in. Next up, we're looking at the snap-on. This is the FL80, made in the USA, obviously. I bought this around the same time that I bought my son's 1/4 inch drive that I'm gonna give him when he gets older. And fantastic ratchet. Got a little bit extra length over your standard length 3/8 drive. Obviously, it's extremely smooth. The back drag is good. It just operates extremely smoothly. Now, the reverse switch on this is not recessed, and it does stick up quite a bit. Just like the Capri isn't recessed, but you can see just how much more the snap-on sticks up out of the ratchet, which I always found kind of weird, but I mean, honestly, I don't really ever bump it on anything. This has a sealed backing plate with the Torx on the drive side of the ratchet as well. And the snap-on comes in at 10 5/16 inches long. Next up is the Gearwrench 120 XP semi-locking flex head. This is one of my go-to ratchets. Same thing as the other 120 XPs that we listened to and looked at. Nice profile, decently slim, 7 different positions it can set in, snap ring style backing plate. And this Gearwrench 120 XP was a 4-piece set that came with this, a 1/2 inch drive that's extra long, and a 1/4 inch drive that's extra long. And this one comes in at 11 1/2 inches, so some nice length on that. Next up is one of my favorites that I just don't use all that often, Two of my favorites I just don't use all that often because I have all of these, and honestly I can't tell you why I don't use these. I don't know. I just don't use them all that often, and I don't really have a reason not to. This also does not have a recessed reverse switch, but it is cut down, pretty low profile. So I think they did a really good job on that. This is the Olsa Tools 90 tooth USA made ratchet off of the SK design, or it is the SK's resold as Olsa before SK went to garbage. But this is a free floating flex head, operates extremely smoothly, very, very low back drag, and some nice length to this as well. This Olsa Tools ratchet comes in at 12 inches long, so definitely some good length for a 3/8 drive free floating flex head. This has the sealed backing plate with the Torx on the drive side of the ratchet. Hurrying along, the Tekton 90 tooth extra long semi-locking flex head, recessed reverse switch. This one does have the quick release. I prefer non-quick release ratchets. That's why all of these that you've looked at are non-quick release, but I do have a couple of quick release ratchets on hand. This one needs lubricated. It is a little dry. And I used to use this one quite a bit until I picked up the Comfort Grip from Tekton, which we'll look at, which is basically identical to this, but with the Comfort Grip. So I used this for a short period of time at work and then swapped it out for that one. And this is kind of one of my go-tos now, but this one is definitely dry, but still very smooth and very, very low back drag. And this does have 9 positions that it can sit in with the sealed backing plate, Torx on the drive side. This Tekton one comes in at 12 7/8 inches long, and this one with the Comfort Grip is identical, also coming in at 12 7/8 inches long. Also a quick release, same exact design as what we just looked at, but with the Comfort Grip, and this is their kind of rectangular oval Comfort Grip that Tekton released. And honestly, I really enjoy it. I think it's extremely comfortable in the hand. I like that they did something different, you know, than a lot of others, and I think they did a good job on it. I would still like to see them release a USA made handle like this on here, but I do like this dual material kind of rectangular handle. This is the Gearwrench 84 tooth. This is one of the first ones that I bought. I bought this as a 2-piece set with a 1/4 inch drive as well. It does have extra length to it. It is a locking flex head. There is 11 positions it can sit in, but only 9 that it can lock in. It can't lock at the 90 degree, but you can put it, you know, there. It just won't lock. This is their old locking design, which you can still find this floating around, as well as some of their other ratchets. But it is a very smooth ratchet, just I don't use it nearly as lot. This is in a separate drawer with my extensions, so really the only time I'm grabbing this is if I'm needing an extension, or I know I'm going to need an extension. I grab it first, then I'll grab this along with it, and if I think I'm going to need something with length. Same handle design as the new, just with slight variations to it, with the lines in the bottom of this one, just basically an updated handle when they switched to the gold and black over the red and black. But this 84 tooth is very smooth, nice low profile, and that one comes in at 13 3/4 inches long, so definitely some good length to it. So next up is the Tekton 3/8 drive non-flex head extra long ratchet. So once again, that 90 tooth design, very smooth. The Tekton ones do just have kind of like a tinny or like a hollowy sound. It is light machine oil that's in here. They're not oiled, you know, the same as some of these, which have a little bit thicker oil or lubricant to them. But even though these sound kind of tinny or hollowy, I don't know how else to explain it, they are very smooth, and they do have very, very little back drag. Once again, same head design as all of the others, just with an extremely long handle. Saw the backing plates on this. The Gearwrench 84 tooth does have that snap ring design. The Tekton, once again, has the sealed backing plate with the Torx in the drive side. And then last up is the Capri Tools extra long locking flex head with Comfort Grip. So definitely a lot of features here, definitely a lot of ratchet here. The Tekton came in at 18 5/8 inches long, and the Capri here comes in at 20. Definitely a lot of length here. You can apply a lot of torque. Great ratchet, very heavy duty. I like the locking mechanism, even though it does stick up out of the ratchet handle quite a bit. It's a design that I don't find myself, like other designs, bumping and accidentally unlocking or whatever. This is, you have to push it to unlock it. There is no push in and it stays in and then you switch it. It is spring loaded. so it automatically locks when you move to the next one. So bumping it on anything or anything like that is not an issue. Pretty good size profile for its size and for the amount of torque that this thing has to be able to handle. Very, very, very smooth, very low back drag. And this also has the sealed backing plate with the Torx in the drive side. So let's quickly get into the smoothest or least back drag ratchets. We'll go with honorable mention, that being the Carlyle new design. It is very smooth, very little back drag. And I like what they've done here. Downside being, Carlyle wants a lot for these new ratchets. They did for their last generation as well. So really the only times to buy it are when you can get a good deal or when you find them on sale. So third place would be the Gearwrench, either one of these, the 120 XP. I use this one a little bit more, and it just feels like there's slightly less backdrag, even though it's the same mechanism and gear and pawls. Maybe just use of it being broken in, it just operates really, really nicely. Second place for least backdrag or smoothest is going to be the Capri 90 tooth. I think this one, once again, this one's had a little bit more use than the new, or newer, I shouldn't say new, but newer Capri extra long locking flex head. For one, that one requires a certain situation and scenario to be used. I'm not just using that extra long 3/8 on everything I come across. So this one definitely gets more use, and I've had it longer. It's just all around, straight out of the box, been very smooth and very little back drag out of this ratchet, and well lubricated upon arrival. First up, and one that I hardly ever use, the Olsa tools. It is very, very smooth and such little back drag. It's sad to see SK not being SK anymore, but I'm glad that Olsa picked these up and released a USA made product, even though they didn't put USA on here anywhere, which is awkward. Most features, honorable mention, the Carlyle, once again, free floating flex head, comfort grip, really nice 90 tooth design. Third place being the Tekton. It is a semi-locking flex head, quick release with the comfort grip. Second place being the Gearwrench 84 tooth, even though I don't use this ratchet all that often anymore because of the other options that I have. It is a locking flex head. I'm not a huge fan of this locking flex head design, but it is a locking flex head. There is a lot of positions to it. It is just the 84 tooth, but still very smooth and very little back drag, and it also has a comfort grip. First up, as far as most features, is going to be the Capri. So same features as the Gearwrench 84 tooth, but you get a 90 tooth. You get a better design locking flex head. You also get the comfort grip and extra length. So fantastic. My favorites, honorable mention, Snap-on. It is just what you look for when you are looking at a good quality ratchet. It feels how you expect it to feel. Very, very smooth, buttery smooth, and it just doesn't disappoint. Third place being the Capri extra long. I'm not gonna keep going over the same ratchets or explain to you why I like them. It's just one of my favorites. It's just that one doesn't get used all that often because of it requires that certain situation. Second place being the Olsa tools. One of my favorites just because of how it operates. And you got extra length and a free floating flex head. And my first, not just because of how it operates, but it is my go-to ratchet almost every single time, just being the Gearwrench 120 XP. 90% of the time I'm grabbing this, but next up is usually this. If I don't need a flex head and I don't need extra length, then this is the one that I'm usually grabbing, just because it's right next to my sockets, and it's just one that I've used for almost 10 years. So it's just what I gravitate towards, I guess. But semi-locking flex head, 120 XP design, 3-degree arc swing, extra length, just all around great ratchet. Let me know your guys' favorite ratchets. Once again, I'll have all of these linked down in the description for you guys as much as possible. Obviously, you guys can't have this one. You can make your own though. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. Let me know your guys' favorite ratchet or ones that you were surprised to be impressed by. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.